The latest poll from Quinnipac shows that the majority of Americans now oppose impeachment. This is significant. It means a dam has broken on the Democrat side. Because mind you, in the past several weeks, we have seen moderates had flipped, now opposing impeachment. Opposition was growing among independent voters, which is significant. But Republicans always opposed this. Yet still, we saw in the average that the majority of Americans were in favor of impeaching the president. Well, that has changed, at least according to one poll so far. Now, I want to be fair. The aggregate still has the majority of Americans in favor of impeachment. But now we are seeing polls that are by no means pro-Trump. Quinnipac has Trump underwater 14 points in his approval rating. But now even Quinnipac is saying all Americans are fed up. What do you think the Democrats do in the face of this information? That they have 2 articles of impeachment, that they're flimsy at best, that the Senate will not convict? They've gone completely insane. I'm sorry. I'm being hyperbolic, okay? I'm exaggerating. They're not literally insane, but I got to tell you, I don't know what they're thinking. You see this story on the screen? For those that are listening, let me read it to you. Democratic Rep. Karen Bass says House would impeach Trump again if he wins in 2020. Look down here. You see this little story about Don Lemon? Are you people insane? Now that's for some stupid meme thing, but I will pull the words right out from Don Lemon's mouth and redirect it in this direction. Have you lost your minds? You know, we are seeing now with the IG report, the BS that went on behind the scenes to smear the president and his campaign. The errors, they call it. Now, in my opinion, I think it's political bias. I think they hated the guy. They were saying things like Viva la Resistance. They don't like Trump. So yeah, all of these bad things just so happen to negatively impact Trump. Impeachment is a scam. They keep throwing scandal after scandal. They're not doing their jobs. Moderates got tired of it. And now the ranks are breaking on the Democrat side. That is incredible. So here's what I want to do. I want to show you these polls. And it's not just about this flip, okay, nationwide. We are seeing now, check this out. This is from the Daily Wire. Trump gets 7-point swing after impeachment inquiry and dominates with independents. So more and more polls keep coming out showing that, you know what? Your scandals, the media, the nonsense, it has failed and people are tired of it. People have finally grown a callous to the nonsensical, scandal-driven fake news. And I'm going to go after the news. So let's do this. Let me show you what this Democratic rep says about even if Trump wins again, we're going to impeach him. I'll show you the polls and the aggregates. I'll be fair. But then I want to talk about how the media is playing right now and the flack they're about to receive from this IG report. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you would like to support my work. There are several ways you can give: PayPal, cryptocurrency, a physical address. But the best thing you can do is share this video because YouTube does not promote content for political commentary. It seems like they're doing their best to harm our channels, my opinion, but it feels that way. If I'm going to challenge these big, networks and even bigger YouTubers, the best thing you do is share this video to help me compete, and you essentially act as like a decentralized marketing network. So it is greatly appreciated. Let's read this story from last night, Daily Caller. California Democratic Rep. Karen Bass said she would push to impeach President Donald Trump again if he wins the presidential election in 2020. When asked by TMZ if she would be in favor of impeaching Trump again if Democrats gain control of the Senate, Bass not only said she would be in favor of introducing the same 2 articles of impeachment Democrats introduced Tuesday, but that she thinks there could be more evidence to impeach Trump if he won the election in 2020. Now, she's got a quote here, but I want to stop and say real quick. So far, the Horowitz report is out, and it shows that so much of Russiagate is fake news, predicated on bar talk. Like apparently some guy overheard someone at a bar and then launched a counterintelligence investigation over someone just suggesting a conspiracy idea while they drank a beer? That is insane to me. And they won't let it go. In fact, they even referenced Russia in the latest impeachment. Adam Schiff said Trump will cheat again. Do you even read the intelligence reports, Schiff? A cheat again? Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. These people have lost their minds. Quote, yes, but I don't think it would be exactly the same. Because even though we are impeaching him now, there are still a number of court cases. There's a ton of information that could come forward. For example, we could get his bank records and find out that he's owned 100% by the Russians. Oh, man. You see, insane. I'm sorry. The Democrats have lost their minds. Russiagate was nonsense. It was debunked. We're done. We went through this for years. The IG report showing even more so nonsense. And this Democratic rep is saying maybe he's owned by the Russians. Wow. Quote, so you are absolutely right in your scenario. But the only thing I would say that is slightly different is that it might not be the same articles of impeachment because the odds are we have a ton more information. And then the odds of that, sadly enough, is that he probably has more examples of criminal behavior. All assumptions, no proof. There's no hard evidence of Trump doing any crimes. Russiagate was debunked, and she's still pushing this. But I tell you this now, if it was just her, I would have said Democrat. No, I said plural. They're all going nuts. Well, first of all, I know Schiff is nuts, but check this out. Bass is not the first Democrat to say this. Democratic Texas Rep Al Green said in December that the House Democrats could impeach President Trump multiple times. The comments come as House Democrats released 2 articles of impeachment. They won't stop. They'll never stop. And we know why they're doing it. Because it was that one other Democrat guy who said, if we don't impeach him, he's going to win again. Now they're saying, well, even if he wins, we'll impeach him again. There's nothing here. They have nothing to campaign on. The only thing Democrats are offering right now, and I tell you this in all sincerity, if you were to ask me, the Democratic Party as a whole versus the Republican Party as a whole, what are the Republicans offering? Okay, based on what I've heard from Republicans, they're concerned about immigration. They're concerned about jobs. Immigration has gone way down. They're concerned about foreign policy issues. Trump is talking about sending troops to Syria. There's a lot of things I disagree with, but I know at least what their targets are. Trade agreements, trade with China, immigration, national security, foreign policy, soldiers, troops, deals with Saudi Arabia, conflict with Iran. It's all there. Democrats as a whole. They've talked about impeaching the president. Trump did USMCA. They passed that and praised it. What have the Democrats done? I can talk about the 2020 Democrats. They've talked about healthcare, but they've been wishy-washy, I guess, giving healthcare to non-citizens. I got to be honest, man. I follow the news all day, every day. And if I were to tell you the big takeaways from the Democratic Party as a whole, nothing. I can't find it. Because even when you get Elizabeth Warren saying big tech, that's just her. Even when you get them saying healthcare for non-citizens, that's just the 2020 contenders. What is the party offering? I can hear what Dan Crenshaw's talking about. He's talking about red flag laws. I can hear about what Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio and the Republicans are talking about when they're concerned about, borders, for instance, jobs, job reports, etc. Now, too much of even the Republican side has been dominated by impeachment talk because of the Democrats. So you know what, man? This is it. I ask you, Democrats, what will you give us in 2020? Why do you deserve our votes? What's that? Orange man bad? You're literally campaigning on impeaching Trump in 2020? You know what, man? You deserve everything you get. Why do you think Trump gets a 7-point swing after impeachment inquiry? Because I'm not alone in this. I am one of these moderate voters. And many of us are saying enough. Republicans never cared for it. But even Democrats now are being like, can we please move on? Let's take a look at this story from Daily Wire. A new Monmouth poll released Tuesday showed only good news for Trump. The president, fighting off the Democrats' hyper-partisan efforts to impeach, received a 7-point swing in his favor concerning the 2020 election. Trump also cleaned up with independents, polling double digits higher than any of the 2020 Democratic candidates. Journalist and author Ryan Godusky reported on the Monmouth polling Tuesday morning when participants were asked if Trump should be reelected to the White House. Trump received a 7-point swing in his favor after the impeachment inquiry. The no answer to reelection dropped 3 points, and the yes answer climbed 4 points. It's remarkable that we've come to this point. But let me now show you another amazing bit of why Trump would be reelected. I'll put it that way. Data. Check this out. In this poll presented by Aaron Blake of the Washington Post, no less, he said, once again, it will be pretty remarkable if Trump somehow manages to lose re-election. Whoa! Washington Post journalists saying this? Now, what could possibly have happened? Trend. Would you say that you are better off or worse off financially today than 2016? Better off, 57%. Worse off, 22%. I gotta give it to Trump. He deserves it. He absolutely does. If a Washington Post reporter is going to come out and show the data saying that 57% of Americans polled are better off and 22% are worse off, that is a tremendous feat and tremendous accomplishment, and the man deserves credit. Trump, I wish you weren't such a boisterous blowhard calling people names on Twitter. I really do. But I will mention too, at a certain point, you have to weigh beyond character. And Trump supporters have made an excellent point in that who cares if Trump is a mean guy if he's getting results? You know what? That's true. You're right. Now, when it comes to foreign policy, I'm not getting the results I want. So, I know you're all going to yell at me and be like, when are you going to accept it? Listen, I get it. And I do have that fear that Democrats, when they get in office, they're going to hurt this. But guess what? There's more. And I'll come back to this point. Aaron Blake says, among the groups who say at least 2-1 that they are better off today than before, young people, white college graduates, and Hispanics. Incredible. I got to say, truly incredible. So you know what? Much respect to Trump. They'll want to say it. Look, we're 3 years in now, a little bit more than 3 years. No, just about 3 years in. Trump deserves credit for it. You want to talk about Obama's economy? Well, I'm sorry, man. Trump's the president. He's enacted a bunch of changes. There's been tax cuts. There's a trade war, and we're seeing these epic numbers. I have to say, if he's made the lives of many Americans better, 57%, then he absolutely deserves credit. So I think you will find many moderate voters will concede that point. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. This is exactly what we can expect when we see the moderate voters say, I wish Trump wasn't tweeting the way he was, but he's getting those results. Depending on what your core issue is. For me, the economy is up there. Immigration is up there, but foreign policy, war, and conflict has always been my strongest point. So I will absolutely concede that while I would never consider myself a supporter of the man, I absolutely have no problem giving him credit for his victories. And I will absolutely concede that since 2016, my personal favorability towards the man has absolutely gone up. Because listen, I will tell you this. What you guys need to understand, the liberals will get this. Trump's attitude trumps so much. Trump's attitude trumps. But it really does. Like, there is a visceral reaction to the way he talks about people, to the insults. And that is, in my opinion, not what a president should be doing. However, there's only so much weight to that. At a certain point, when you see these numbers, I got to stop and think about, is it really about how he is offensive and boisterous and kind of, I'll say it, kind of gross, if he's making people's lives better? That is a tough call. Now, I got to stop you there. For me, if Trump, Trump is entertaining sending troops to Saudi Arabia. He said there was a big report. He said it was fake news, but he talked about it before. So I think that's a huge factor in whether or not I would be willing to support somebody. But I will absolutely concede. If Trump brought on Tulsi Gabbard as like Secretary of State and Andrew Yang as an economic advisor, I think you'd win me over. I got to admit it. Because, look, Trump can be the worst guy in the world. But for me, you guys know this, one of my biggest voting positions is about foreign policy. And that's why I like Tulsi Gabbard. And if Trump was being led by someone like Tulsi on foreign policy, I might just concede that point. I don't like the guy. I really don't like Trump. I got to be honest. It's rough. I think you need to, people who don't get it, don't understand Trump derangement syndrome. You got to recognize that people react really, like they really do not react well to Trump's character. And the saying goes, people won't remember what you said to them. They'll remember how you made them feel. These numbers to somebody who's tracking the news is going to be sitting there scratching their head like, man, at a certain point, you gotta recognize what Trump has done. But to the average person, they're going to remember how Trump makes them feel. And that's a huge hurdle for the man. But let's do this. New poll shows slipping support for impeachment with 51%, saying that they do not want Donald Trump removed as he boasts about winning in battleground states. So I'll tell you this now. I am not an easy person to sway to vote. Like I said, I didn't vote for anybody in 2012. And that Obama didn't get me. I like Tulsi Gabbard. She probably won't be the nominee. So I probably will not vote. But I am not a crazy person. I can absolutely say impeachment was a mistake. Trump should not be impeached. We should respect the conservatives who voted for him. We should respect the process, the Electoral College, the rules as they were laid out before us. And for those that are much more terrified or don't like his attitude, you got to recognize that you don't win them all. It's not the end of the world. Trump's got major victories. Well, you know what? If you want to win, you got to get your head on your shoulders. And the voters are screaming at you right now. Impeachment is not what we want. Here's the point. I have to concede that Trump has done a good job on the economy. Absolutely. I'll concede this too. to the other side, I never thought the world was going to end when Trump got elected anyway. I'm not a crazy person. You know what I mean? I'm just a regular dude who leans kind of to the left on a lot of issues. But I can give Trump that respect and concede that he's done a lot better than I thought he would. That's a fact. And character be damned. I mean, I shouldn't have said that because YouTube's going to punish me. But no, I mean, Trump's got it. He's won the impeachment fight. It's now flipping in his favor. Even Democrats are souring on it. The economy is doing really, really well. What can you say? Trump's got a bad attitude? Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. But what's the alternative? Is it really worth risking a threat to the economy for something like Elizabeth Warren's plans? Man, that's a tough call. Look, I'm a moderate, and I have no problem saying I fear that risk. I absolutely do. So you get it. This is a Quinnipac poll. Now I want to show you this. President Trump job approval. Quinnipac has Trump minus 14. That's higher than the other polls. Not the highest. The highest is minus 19, but it's the second worst numbers for any poll. So they're polling people who say, we do not like this man, but we do not want him impeached. That blows my mind. Now, the Quinnipac poll on approval is from the 4th to 9th, and the Quinnipac poll from impeachment is from the exact same time. I believe it's the same poll. So check this out. No, +8 for impeachment and removal. Whoa. So you mean to tell me the people who overwhelmingly don't approve of the job he's doing are defending the guy and saying, don't impeach him? Talk about losing a fight. But let me show you, because this video is about the Democrats going insane. Okay, let me show you. Here's a story from the Federalist. Why allowing a Democrat impeachment witness to cross-examine an opponent was completely unfair and unethical. What were they thinking? They've lost their minds. They actually had Barry Burke testify as a witness and act as a cross-examiner. So insane. You know what, man? I'm gonna spend these last few minutes ragging on the media because this is mind-blowing insanity. They're still pulling forward with this, and you know why? Because the media is there for them. Because the news outlets will protect them. I'm not kidding. Check this out. CNN, MSNBC refused to air DOJ Inspector General hearing live. We just learned from Horowitz in the IG report 17 mistakes. They knew the FISA warrant they had was fake. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. They knew the Steele report was bunk, yet they pursued the investigation. This guy's testifying right now, telling everybody all that you heard about Trump is fake news. CNN, MSNBC, better turn it off. Can't let the American people hear what's really going on here. Really remarkable. I heard something similar happened when the Republicans aired footage of Joe Biden giving that quid pro quo with, at the CFR hearing where he's like, if you don't fire the guy, you're not getting the money. News outlets turn it off. Well, I send you now to a quote from Matt Taibbi. No conservative guy. Here's what he wrote in his article about the Horowitz report. He says, I've written about how reporters used sleight of hand to get the Steele dossier into print without putting it through a vetting process. What Horowitz describes is worse. A story about bad journalism piled on bad journalism, balanced on a third layer of wrong reporting. That coming from Matt Taibbi, who is not a conservative guy. I think the Democrats have lost. And I think because of it, they're going insane. I really, really do. That's why Adam Schiff is still, like, you know what? They are insane, regardless. Schiff says Trump's going to cheat again. What do you mean cheat again? We learned the whole thing was nonsense. It's here. The Steele dossier was what they used to launch this, and it was nonsense. Bad reporting, bad reporting. Why won't these journalists get fired? And what do we see? Well, they're going to be moving the impeachment hearings to prime time. Not all-day hearings. I guess those have failed. But let me leave you with one quick tweet. Here's what I said. Media. Ukraine meddled in 2016. Democrats. No, that's a conspiracy. Media. Yes, you're right. It's a conspiracy. Ukraine did not meddle. And I'll show you a few examples. The Democrats may be insane because the media is lying. I don't know. New York Times. Ukraine court rules Manafort disclosure caused meddling in U.S. election. 1. Politico. Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire. 2. A CNN article reports multiple Democratic sources said a DNC contractor whose work included organizing political events for Ukrainian Americans, did tell DNC operatives that Ukrainian officials would be willing to deliver damaging information on Trump's campaign, and most notably Manafort, his then campaign head, who has previously advised Yanukovych, the former Ukrainian president, with close ties to Moscow. They said Ukrainian officials. So there it is. I laid it out for you. The press told us. What's this? Cruz promotes conspiracy that Ukraine blatantly interfered in the U.S. election. You can't trust the press anymore. They will tell you one thing, and then they will tell you something else. It's trash. Right now, they are not airing the Horowitz report. Why? Because it essentially exonerates Carter Page, provides exculpatory evidence about Trump and his campaign, debunks Adam Schiff, Trump cheated. The Democrats have lost it. They went insane the moment Trump won. They have lost their minds. And now, what are they telling us? Well, if he wins again, we're going to impeach him anyway. Do you think this is what Americans want? Because I'll tell you what, the polls show the opposite. What's the definition of insanity? They say it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I leave you with this. If the Democrats have seen all of the polls of the last month showing they're failing, and they keep pushing it, even expressing a desire to try again later, it's no different from them putting their hand in the fire and saying, ouch, and then putting their hand back in the fire and saying, ouch, and they just keep doing it. That, to me, is insanity. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews, and I will see you all then.